Hello and welcome to the Browns Blitz. Today is Tuesday, December 30th. This is episode number 328. I'm your host, Rod Bloom. Joining me today is my brother, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
Going good, Rod. Just longing for the days when the media reported the news. They didn't try to make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot to that statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we of course are part of the Fanatical Elves Network, and you can find us on X as you can at right now. You can also follow us on Facebook under the Fanatical Elves Network, and we would hope that you would subscribe to us on YouTube. So go to YouTube, the Fanatical Elves, and just click subscribe for us. That'll help us out. We're also working on what you call a TikTok. John Suchan's doing a lot of that. I'm not going to say that I'm super active on there. I'm trying, but I'll be honest. Whoops, I should have turned my volume down on my phone, Jeff. But anyways, I just want to put this out because the guys are working really hard on the TikTok, putting out a lot of great content. So
Yeah.
if you guys are on TikTok and not checking out the Fanatical Elves there, you could do so, and that's under, it's just Elves Network on TikTok. So we appreciate the support. We appreciate everybody who checks out the show here and also does everything and listens and watches the other shows within the network. So yeah. So this, of course, I guess last week, Jeff, we had our big Christmas show, if we want to call it that.
Yeah, right.
So we'll just call this our I guess. Do you want this to be the year-end wrap-up, or do you want this to be the New Year's show, the New Year's Eve show?
Let's just call this the New Year's show, I guess. We're going to start actually wrapping up the season once it's over next week, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to do a wrap right now. Yeah, and I don't know. I really didn't put it out there, but it was very odd last week. And I'm not the only person who hasn't felt good within the last week, but we recorded last week, and I would imagine if people were watching, they may have actually seen my soul leave my body during the podcast, because once we ended the podcast, I was up all night with a stomach bug, and I lost 6 pounds within 24 hours, guys. And I have never had, I've never given birth. Okay. So I can't say this, but I've never felt stomach pains like I felt that night. And
Wow.
oh my gosh. I've actually, it took a few days. I've recovered. My stomach still isn't 100%, but I've gained those 5 pounds, 6 pounds back and stuff. It was all water and everything, but
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back in the saddle.
yeah. I don't remember ever being hit like that in my life by anything, and I was fortunate because it was just the stomach, and people talk about both ends. It was only one end, so the two ends is just something
Thanks
that's
for sparing us
hard to
the
live
descriptive.
with. I'm not going to be descriptive whatsoever. But yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it could have been worse. So anyways,
Yeah. Well,
so
there's a lot of that going around right now.
yeah, I know a lot of people are going through it. So you guys all have my sympathy, empathy, everything, because yeah, man, if anybody gets a touch of what I had, oh my gosh, just not nice whatsoever. So
Yuck.
yeah.
So no beer tonight.
Yeah, I had a beer last week, and I can't even blame it. I can't blame the beer. I was kind of like, at that point, do I drink it? Do I not? Wasn't sure how I felt, so I drank my last Christmas beer, and no, I have not had a beer since, and I think I'm going to wait a few more days on that, Jeff. So
Yeah. I'll blame you.
I'm just we're not going to talk about it, but I found this. I'm drinking this Minute Maid Zero pineapple juice.
Hmm.
It's actually really good.
Yeah.
Kristen she found something saying that drinking pineapple juice for is good for like clearing your um, ingestion and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to drink a little bit of pineapple juice, even though this is probably all from concentrate. So anyway,
Well,
but
good.
enough about me. So let's. There was a game. I really didn't want to make it all about me, but anyways, just a little explanation. that so yeah, we're skipping the beverages. Nothing big to talk about there. So eh, Jeff, other than really talk surrounding the game, um, the coaching staff, um, possible changes, and all this stuff, I didn't see anything in the news this week. Did you? Is there anything else to talk about? Did I miss something?
No, not that I'm aware of. Yeah, it's been a very disappointing week, Rod.
Yeah.
For me, I've been kind of blasé since Monday morning. I was super pumped the whole game. I mean, I was as into this football game as I've been into a football game in the last 2-3 seasons. Just on the edge of my seat. Jan went over and sat on the couch because she was afraid I was going to slug her or something. I'm usually not that involved in the game, but it's the Steelers. It's our most hated rival, even though they probably don't view us as their rival anymore. But we had a string of beating them at home here, in our stadium, and we talked last week about how important it was for the team to understand that rivalry and keep it alive, I guess. So I was super excited to see them play the way they did. I mean, even though it felt like a struggle, we led that entire game. I mean, we were really until the last few throws at the end zone, we were really never in danger of losing that game.
No, but you're right. It felt like one of those games where we were going to lead and
find a way to lose at the end.
And find a way to lose at the end. So I think I was just like you. I was into it. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm complaining about everything that goes wrong because I want the Browns to put this game away, and win it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it on offense. They couldn't get that extra, the extra field goal, that extra score, anything, that extra first down even,
right,
to put the game out of reach. So I'm like, oh my gosh, and I knew something was going to come down.
Kind of crazy how early in the game the offense was very effective, very efficient. I
appreciate you, Jeremy.
Right.
Always willing to take one for the team.
That's right. I was really surprised how the offense dropped off in the second half. And to me, it still boils down to the same thing that we've been harping on pretty much all season. The reason that we can't put another team away, here's your statistic. 21 rushes for 58 yards. That was the combined stats for Sampson, Rocket Sanders, and Williams. Shedeur rushed 4 times for 20 yards. But 21 rushes for 58 yards by those 3 guys. For me, it was all summed up when they were going for the 4th and 1. And I mean, that's where you do the tush push. You bring in your heavy package and you're just trying to move the ball. It was less than a yard. It was like 2 feet, if that.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Zach Zinner get thrown on his back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our problem. We can't own the trenches with the guys that we have on this roster. So we just can't put a team away. And beside the point, we found a way to win that game. We found a way defensively to suck it up at the end, which, our defense, you can't blame them, but they've not been able to do that a lot lately.
Right. The defense essentially just refused to lose this game.
Yeah. They and I think, Aaron Rodgers helped us out a little bit in that regard by, changing his entire strategy offensively so that he would not give up a sack to Myles Garrett. And it's funny how I texted that to you. I think near the end of the first quarter, I texted you and I said, I think Rodgers would rather lose than give up that record-breaking sack. And Myles came out after the game and pretty much said the same thing. And I've heard it 100 times in the media this week that, that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be on a poster. So winning wasn't as important to them. But ultimately, you throw the ball 3 times in Denzel Ward's direction. And
what do you expect?
Yeah.
And then you cry that you want pass interference with
Denzel, and then you want pass interference. Right. Yeah. So anyway,
just because you usually get calls like that doesn't mean that you deserve them.
Yeah. It was an ugly game from a lack of scoring standpoint, but I thought the Browns did a pretty good job of executing in all 3 phases, at least for part of the game. The offense early on, not so much later. Special teams were not a problem in this game.
I agree. Special teams played well.
And defense played probably the best game of the year, I thought.
I think so. Going to special teams, Bajorquez, he averaged 57 yards a punt on 4 punts. You're not going to do a whole lot better than that. And Schmidt makes, the 50-yarder at first. And I can't remember how long the second one was that he made, but that first one, you're kind of wondering if they should be trying one that long, when it's that windy, and he nails
in those conditions, it was rough. I mean, if you saw the field goal that Pittsburgh made, I mean, it bent like my driver. I mean, it was 20 yards left of the post, and ended up in the middle. So it was really rough conditions for kickers, and you would understand some missed field goals, right? But ultimately, Pittsburgh, we opted not to try one. Pittsburgh opted not to try one. Pittsburgh missed one, but ultimately, we outscored them anyway. And low scoring, terrible weather condition day, that's what you need. You need your guys to play their best games, and they did. And I was again so excited about it, so happy, and then I started looking at what people were saying, and it just really drug me down this week. People are upset that we won. Come on, it's the Steelers. I don't care about draft picks. I want to beat these bastards, and I want to humiliate.
I don't either. And we are here to celebrate this victory. You know what? Because I am the same way. I said it on X today. It's like there is no more guarantee of nailing a number 2 or 3 pick than there is of nailing a number 8 or number 10 pick. First of all, okay. It's all about just making the picks and doing the best you can with the picks when that time comes. Okay. And that's so far away. This team needed this win.
Exactly.
For a lot of reasons.
Exactly.
This win is so much more important than worrying about draft position. And I just don't get it. I mean, are people, I think people may be more upset because this kind of, puts in question, who's going to be here next year and who's not. And it kind of screws up in their head, maybe who they think should be fired and who shouldn't and all that stuff. Rather than just saying, well, the team won 3 games, we can just clean house.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I think it throws a monkey wrench into what we've been hearing for the last several weeks, that we need to keep doing the same thing that we've always done. We need to make the same mistakes over and over again and expect a different result. And there's a reason that we are where we are, and where, why we've been in this position for so long. And it boils down to this team panicking. They listen to the media, the local media, they listen to the national media, they listen to the fan base, they read social media, and they're worried about losing this fan base. And as a result, what we keep getting over and over and over again is distractions. We need some sort of distraction from the fact that this is a lousy football team, and we'll accept it for another year. Mm-hmm. Stop giving me the damn distractions and just give me a decent football team. I don't need you to tell me that the next quarterback is the guy that's going to fix everything, or the next general manager or the next head coach is the guy that's going to fix everything. That hasn't worked. We've tried that a multitude of times over the course of the last 27 years, and it hasn't worked. All right. So don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Give me a real winning football team. Okay. The way to do that is to let smart football people make football decisions and stop panicking. Stop deciding that we have to do something quick, even if it's wrong, or we're going to lose the fan base. And I think that has gone on for so long now, Rod, that it's literally broken this fan base. This fan base doesn't know how to think otherwise. The only way this fan base can think is, well, if we lose, the way to fix that is to do what we've always done. And in what world does that make sense? It doesn't. For me, it's an echo chamber. The echo chamber is ownership makes a change, the fans get upset, ownership makes another change. The fans get upset, ownership makes another change. And in between there, the pressure dials down for a little while, and then it just ramps back up again. So how does that give us anything different than what we've always had? Right? At some point, ownership needs to decide that they're going to stop doing this. They're going to get out of this stupid cycle. They're going to put an end to this once and for all and say, you know what? We've been a circus. We've been a circus for a long time, right? I texted Jeremy earlier. I said, Shedeur didn't bring the circus to town. He's just the latest attraction under the big top, right? This is what they do to distract us from the fact that this team has sucked for so long, okay? And the way you put a stop to it is you come out on Monday and you say, okay, things were tough this year. We didn't win some of the games we thought we had a chance in. Maybe, okay? I want to review that too, by the way. I want to look at our expectations for this season when I'm done with this rant. Okay. But ownership needs to come out and own this and say, just like when Jimmy said that the Deshaun Watson trade was a big swing and a miss. Okay. Own the fact that he has spent years trying to distract us, and say, you know what, guys, it's time for us to commit to doing this thing the right way. We've invested in a brilliant rookie draft class. We've got stars now in the making all over the place as a result, right? Because we did it right this year, right? We didn't panic. We've got one more year of this Watson fiasco. Let's continue to do the right things. Let's dig ourselves out of this hole instead of continuing to make it deeper. And let's build toward a winning program for when we get into that new stadium. Because the alternative is to tear things down again and never get good. That's the option. And if Jimmy Haslam decides that, like any drug addict or alcoholic, that he's going to fall back into his old ways, okay, he's going to be the guy on the line. He can't blame it on anybody else.
Yeah.
It's the question from years ago. Well, what if ownership is the problem? Okay. Well, it's pretty clear that ownership's been the problem. And what he's done so far this year has been the right things. Yeah. If he reinforces all this garbage that we've been hearing for the last couple of weeks by making another panic move to appease a segment of the fan base, his credibility will be zero with me. And I'll hold his feet to the fire for the rest of my life if I have to.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I really struggled. I was expecting, just like you, Jeff, I was expecting people to be excited about this win. And as soon as I turned on the radio, as soon as I went on X at all, I mean, there were people on X that were excited, but it felt like more people were not excited. More people were mad because of the draft pick. It's like, yeah,
I'll say this, Rob,
I had to turn it all off.
You and I were probably the only people in town. I'm looking at our predictions from last week. We were probably the only people in town that thought the Browns would win this game. We both said, we both said that the Browns would win a close game. You had a little bit higher score than I did, but the reality is that we thought the Browns could win this game, right? Yeah. And to a man, everybody else I've listened to has said, I didn't think they could beat them. Pittsburgh had every reason to win. We had every reason to lose. Okay, you underestimated a bunch of professional athletes.
That's right.
Who have some pride and understand what a rivalry is about.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't even know where to go next, Jeff. I mean,
well, let's go to the thing I mentioned, Rob, real quick. I want to
about the games and the expectations.
Yeah. I want to go back to expectations real quick, okay? Because again, Jeremy and I were talking about this beforehand. We did not expect a lot from this team this year. We came in off a 3-win season. We looked at the schedule, and I pulled up our notes from May 15th. That was when.
Is that when we gave our predictions for wins?
Yeah, that was the show that we did right after the schedule was released. Okay, and I'm looking at the schedule right now. Of the 17 opponents this season, Rod, how many times were the Browns, and this includes next week, against the Bengals Sunday, how many times were the Browns favored this year?
This year?
This year. How many times were they favored?
I'm going to say 0.
Well, that's a good guess, but the reality is 3. Okay, and one of those, the Jets, they were not favored until the Jets cleaned house. Okay, and then they suddenly became favored.
Well, I'm just thinking they weren't even favored against Tennessee, were they?
Yes, we were favored by 3.5 against the Titans because nobody thought the Titans were going to win a game or more than one game this year. Titans have started playing much better football toward the end of the season.
It doesn't look like such a bad loss now.
Right.
I mean, not a good loss, but it doesn't look like a horrible loss now.
Right. And the only other time that we were favored was against the Dolphins when we cleaned their clocks. Right. The game that you and I were at, right?
Yeah. I should have guessed 1. Yeah.
But the rest of the time, if you looked at the lines, I mean, we were 11.5-point dogs to the Ravens, 7.5-point dogs to the Packers, 8.5 dogs to the Lions. We were 10.5 to the Bills. Let's see, the Patriots 7. It's crazy how
we just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Bengals, who are 6-10, and the Bengals are 7.5-point favorites.
7.5-point favorites.
7.5.
Yeah, exactly.
the Steelers didn't even score 7.5 against us.
So what were the expectations going into this year? Vegas had the over-under on wins for this Browns team. And this was in May, keep in mind. Okay, this was before we know who was even going to be on the 53-man. We didn't know that we were going to break camp with 13 rookies.
Right.
Okay. This was in May 15th. Okay. Vegas had the Browns as 5.5 wins for the over and under. Okay. And we said, we had Ryan Mosser on the show that week, and we asked, okay, you take the over or the under, right? Ryan said that the Browns would be lucky to win 3 games again.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I said that I would take the under on that. I thought they would win 5 or fewer. And you took the over. You said that they would win 6 or more. You were the optimist.
I'm always the optimist. What can I say?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just
me. Right. But the reality is that none of us really expected much more than that 5.5 number.
Right. Okay. I was thinking 6. Yeah. 6, 7 if they got really lucky and Flacco just played his brains out,
Yeah.
Well,
that was your expectation at that point, right? They had Flacco in house. They had Pickett. We were going to play veterans. We were going to try to win games.
Yeah, I thought the offense was going to actually be pretty darn. I mean, at least the offense. I thought we were going to have an effective offense. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knew how the offensive line was going to crash and burn.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew that Jerry Jeudy was going to suddenly develop a case of the dropsies and catch like 10 balls this year. Okay. We didn't, again, there were so many things that we didn't know, but our expectation was still set very low for this season.
Yeah.
Okay. And we knew that it was going to be a hard schedule, particularly the first 6 weeks. We knew that first 6 weeks was a gauntlet, right?
Right.
This team still found a way to beat the Packers, still found a way to humiliate the Dolphins before the bye.
Well, we were there. I mean, that's kind of why that happened.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Then they went to Vegas and beat the Raiders. Now, you could say the Raiders are the worst team in football this year. Okay, great. It's still damn hard to go out west and win a football game.
The Browns just never, very rarely do they do well going west. So that game was never going to be a given.
And you beat the Steelers at home for your 4th win. You were in a bunch of these ball games. You had a lot of opportunities that really kind of went sideways because of the age of this team, the transition between an older veteran team to a young rookie-laden team that was prone to some mistakes. Now,
that's pretty fair. Yeah.
What happened with penalties this year? I haven't done the metrics yet, and we'll dive into this deeper going forward. But you can safely say, in general, they went down dramatically. Dramatically. We were finishing games with 9, 10, 11, 12 penalties last year.
Yeah.
Right. We were 4, 5, and 6 penalties this year.
Yeah.
So yes, by any reasonable measure, this team outperformed or at least lived up to what your expectations for it should have been.
Yeah, especially since, like you said, when we were talking about that was before the draft, before the 50. Well, it wasn't before the draft. It was before we knew the composition of this team and exactly how young it was going to be. So I think that youth definitely makes you think younger. I mean, I don't think anybody was thinking that we were going to have rookies start 13 of the 17 games at quarterback either. Not that many. And Jeremy, to go to your question about how many games we won without a Flacco trade, well, and I don't want this to be a knock on Kevin Stefanski, but it depends which Joe Flacco we have playing and how our wide receivers are playing too. Because the Joe Flacco we had those first 4 games where he had had ropes tied around his wrists and wasn't allowed to air the ball out, I don't think we win a whole heck of a lot more games, because that was a very, very controlled offense. I think we've seen more freedom to throw the deep ball from Shedeur than we ever saw with Flacco when he was playing in those 4 games. So I don't know. Would they have opened things up for Flacco if he would have played 8 or 10 games? Maybe. I don't know. And if so, maybe they win a couple more games, but I don't think it's a huge difference, honestly.
I don't either. I'm going to answer that question with a question. How many games did Flacco win for Cincinnati?
Well, I mean, I guess I guess I'm thinking of the 2 defenses, but obviously you got a little bit slightly better offense surrounding you there in Cincinnati too. A little better receiving core.
Yeah. I mean, I think really the decision was made when the Pickett trade took place. Before in training camp, before the start of preseason, when he was injured. I think that was when the decision was made that they were going to go young this year.
Yep.
And that pretty much sealed the win total in my mind. You made the decision at that point that you just were not all about getting as many wins as you could. The priority changed. The priority was, we are going to develop young players. We're going to get young in a hurry. We're going to retool this team by injecting it with youth and future draft picks, and we're not going to worry about how many games we win this year. And Jimmy Haslam said as much at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and so I think the organization knew that. I think some of us knew that. I don't think the entire fan base caught on with that. A lot of the fan base was still expecting wins and thinking that jobs depended on wins.
It goes back to just the mentality that, you can tell me that you're not going to win games, but I still want you to win games. And the reality is that the way we're going to do that is to do what we've always done. We're going to fire people if they don't. So, it's the fan base is broken, and the only way it's going to be fixed is if the owner owns up to this and fixes it.
Well, you know what? The only thing that fixes everything with the fans and everything is wins. So the owner can do that, Jeff, and sure, it'll fix some things. But until this team gets better, and starts winning more games, and that's probably going to not be until 27, until there's a dramatic change, I would expect. I don't think the fan base is going to change a whole lot next year.
Then you just need to tune them out.
I think so. I think so.
And the local media needs to come up with stories that aren't originated on Twitter. I read something, or I got partway into something earlier that was written by a friend of ours who decided that they're going to be the news today and talk about, is it time for a mutual parting of ways? Just shut up.
Well,
just grow up and shut up.
Well, that's not even an original piece, though, either, Jeff. That was, and I don't want to. Because we're not naming names here, but that's a story that originated with somebody else too.
Yeah.
So that's rephrasing of stuff that's gone around, and it's like, why is this coming out now? But yeah, more than one person wrote about that. And why do we need to write about this now, right after a win? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this what people want? Okay. And so I had that written down to mention, and then I have there's another article about Kevin Stefanski taking a shot at Shedeur Sanders in his post-game comments by saying, he said something positive, and then he said he always has things to clean up, or he has some things to clean up. Well, yeah, he did. Did you guys watch the game?
Yeah.
He didn't play a perfect game.
Everybody has things to clean up.
That's Kevin not Smith a shot.
He says the same thing every week.
Yes.
We all need to coach better. We all need to play better.
Yes.
We all need to do better. He says the same thing every week.
It's not a shot. Quit trying to stir things up that aren't there.
That's just manufacturing a story.
Yes. So I thought the Steelers game on the Browns part was coached well. Kevin played it conservatively. He let the defense do their jobs. And he more or less left it up to the Steelers to try to win, and the defense didn't let him do it. So, I didn't have a problem really with anything that Kevin did in that game. And I get kind of tired of picking coaches apart anyways. Okay. Going into this season, Jeff, who were a couple of the young coaches who were really highly thought, not even young, who were two of the best coaches in the league? I'm thinking, who would we love to have as a coach here in Cleveland, going into this season, if we were to change, you'd love to have Andy Reid, wouldn't you? And if not Andy Reid, maybe a young guy who's really fiery with the players and just wears the emotion on his sleeve, like Dan Campbell. Yeah. I've talked about Dan Campbell. I love the guy. His team's what?
Both those guys are at 500 right now.
They're both struggling right now. Okay. Yeah. Did they forget how to coach this season?
No.
Did they suddenly become bad coaches?
No.
Are they going to be back next season? Are their teams going to be decent next season, you think?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
Let me take that one step further, Rod. Let's talk about quarterbacks for a minute, because you mentioned Shador being this ongoing story about us somehow undermining Shador all year long, right?
Yeah.
Shador right now is a rookie quarterback who at times looks like a rookie quarterback. He has moments where you go, okay, that looks like an NFL quarterback. That looks like a guy who can make the plays, right? Mm-hmm. And then he'll revert back to being a rookie, and that's to be expected from a guy who's now played six games. Every rookie goes through a learning curve. You don't need to look any further than Mason Graham, who was taken with the 5th pick in the draft. His learning curve.
Yeah.
Okay. Carson Schlesinger is the exception to that. Harold Fannin has been the exception to that rule. These guys that came in and were able to contribute at a high level right away.
It just doesn't happen like that.
It's a lot harder to do as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback is the most valued position on the field for a reason, because it's the hardest to play. Yeah, fire Andy Reid. Yeah, we need to fire about 2/3 of the coaches in the league, and just
they all stink.
musical chairs, right? Yeah. So I just want to mention quarterback in the NFL is it's really hard to find a great guy. It's not hard to find a good guy. So think for a second, and it's Jeffrey's mentioning Marcus Mariota. And his name comes to mind. Okay, but think of a starter in the NFL who you would consider to be the average NFL quarterback. Who's the average NFL quarterback right now? And then, there's a whole bunch of guys. Just throw one out.
The average NFL quarterback?
Yeah, kind of like an average NFL quarterback. The obvious one for me is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker's a good one. Jalen Hurts is probably on the high side, Jeffrey.
I would say Jalen Hurts is above average.
He's probably above average.
Super Bowls.
Right? Yeah, he's won Super Bowls.
So he's above average.
Yeah, Baker's a good average guy, I would say.
Baker's kind of an average guy, right? What about Jared Goff? Kind of an average quarterback, right?
He was probably below average. Then in Detroit, he's had some above average seasons. So yeah, he probably goes up and down between average and above average. But yeah.
How about Matthew Stafford?
Stafford goes from above average to elite to back down to average sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy who can be the best quarterback in the whole league, or
at times.
Maybe it depends how his back's feeling, but yeah, I think he threw up a stinker. What was that, last night or not last night? The other night, in their last game.
Yeah, so you could just kind of work your way right around the league, Rod, and throw out most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. There are guys that obviously are franchise cornerstones like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, right? Jordan Love. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thought of him earlier today. Average NFL quarterback. Okay. Trevor Lawrence, until this season, was a below average NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Now suddenly he's figured out how to use his legs, and he's an above average NFL quarterback.
Right. For one season out of 6 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin Herbert should be a top 5 quarterback, has never gotten there, right? He's still, in my mind, an average NFL quarterback, maybe slightly above average, right? So a lot of teams have average NFL quarterbacks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just assume for a minute that we give Shedeur Sanders 17 games in 2026. Plenty of runway, right? To spend the offseason, take away all the excuses, give him a few more tools, give him a slightly improved offensive line. What if at the end of 2026, he turns out to be an average NFL quarterback?
I think average equals franchise pretty much in this league. It just does. I mean, you can try to, find a guy who is going to be like people thought Arch Manning was going to grow into, the next Andrew Luck, the next Dan Marino, anybody like that. But you could be chasing shadows for a long time, doing that kind of stuff. So this Browns team has, over the years, has had a lot of, good players come through and a lot, good defenses at times, and they've just never had that quarterback, really. So I think if you have the quarterback, I mean, it's almost like a prerequisite to compete in the league. You just have to not suck at quarterback. You got to have just somebody there who's good enough, to not make the terrible mistakes that can win you games sometimes and keep you in other games. Yeah, I mean, and just
I'm going to give you one more name, Rod.
Go ahead.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Average NFL quarterback, right?
Well, until a couple of years ago, he wasn't even average.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was terrible up until 2 years ago, right?
And all of a sudden, he's top 5, top 10.
Well, I mean,
probably right.
He had a really good year in Minnesota. He went to a really good situation in Seattle, and now Seattle is the number one. What do you call it?
Number one seed.
One seed, right? In the playoffs with 13 wins, right? Because they just went out and bought a quarterback, right? You don't have to hit a home run in the draft, is my point. It's a long roundabout way of getting to my point, but you don't have to hit a home run in the draft to find a competent NFL quarterback who can put you right in contention. Okay, we have just panicked far too many times. We had an average NFL quarterback in Baker Mayfield. He may or may not have continued to do that for us. I don't know.
Hard to say. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it might be revisionist history to say that, but he was an average NFL quarterback who we felt we were going to move on from because we wanted to get an elite NFL quarterback. So here we go out and we swing for the fences on an elite NFL quarterback, and the only one that was available was a guy who hadn't played in a year, had legal issues, and was screwed up between the ears. And guess what? Now we're paying the penalty for that, right? So in the draft, let me just say this right now, and I don't want to get into the draft, okay? But there is not an elite NFL quarterback in the draft right now. And we don't know everybody who's going to come out and everybody who isn't. But I'm pretty sure that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first pick, whether the Raiders use it or somebody trades or whatever. But Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first pick in this draft.
Most likely, yeah.
He is not going to be an elite NFL quarterback. And somebody can call me on this in a year or 5 years or 10 years. I don't care. Okay. But the reality is he's not the guy that you sell the franchise for. He's probably as solid an average NFL quarterback as you can find in the draft. Okay. But if I'm sitting at number 6 or 7, he's not the guy that I mortgage my future for.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And there are a whole lot of people who are ready to trade up to make sure that we bring that guy in.
Yeah, he's not doing it
right now. To me, I don't know why you have to keep spending capital on quarterback when you got all these other holes, and people can say what they want.
Yeah.
This team has holes at receiver and offensive line, and why are you going to give up, 2 firsts and, and a future second or something like this to move up to take a quarterback? And then who's going to protect him? Who's he going to throw to? It's going to take
the Tim Couch story, Rod.
Yeah, we've seen that story. Tim Couch could have been, he could have been a very good NFL quarterback if he had a line.
He got the crap beat out of him for 5 years.
Yeah. So thanks. I appreciate the sentiment and people wanting to bring in another quarterback, but we've got a guy here who is showing improvement week to week. Okay, people can keep saying, well, he's near the bottom in the stats. Well, his offensive line sucks. His wide receiver room sucks. And he's a rookie. Okay. Have you watched the games? Have you watched how he's moving in the pocket? His movement in the pocket is improving. I think his presence as far as knowing when to scramble, it's just so much better. He's not taking the deep sacks. He hasn't done that in weeks, really. He has more to learn on his throws, sure. And I'm not the guy to teach him, but he throws a lot of nice balls. You can see where he's got some issues and stuff he's still got to work on, but man, it's getting better. So why wouldn't you work with this guy, build around him, and man, there are other drafts coming up. There's other drafts. You don't have to take a quarterback every year till you get it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think if you let the draft come to you and you take the best players and you do that for long enough, you're going to have a quality organization. Yeah. Detroit did it. The Bears have done it. When you reach, when you panic, I keep using that word because that's what it is. Okay. Because the fan base is nervous. That's when you start making huge mistakes and you set yourself back even further. And right now you're looking at a draft that has a pretty nice opportunity for this team to get healthy. I think if things line up over the next month, when we'll know everybody who's going to actually be in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's good opportunity to go get guys that you can really count on as cornerstones at some important positions.
Right.
And if you get to the end of 2026, the rookie years for those guys, now you can really, as an organization, say, okay, we've gotten rid of the Deshaun Watson disaster. That money's freed up now. We can go spend again. Okay, what pieces do we need to really give these young kids a supporting cast in 27?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And that's the right way to turn this ship around. You own the mistakes that you've made in the past, and you try not to make them again. I'm going to throw out one other huge mistake that this organization made, and I think it ties into what we're talking about right now. The 2020 draft, Andrew Berry's first with the Browns. We were looking to replace the Hall of Famer. Expectations were, oh yeah, we'll just find another Hall of Famer to plug in at left tackle.
Yeah, piece of cake, because they grow on trees.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so 2020 draft comes along. We're picking 10th in that draft. I don't know if people remember that, but we got the 10th pick in that draft.
Oh yeah,
and it was a pretty solid offensive line draft.
Mm-hmm.
At number 10, we had three options. We had Jed Wills, who was a right tackle at Alabama. We had Mekhi Becton, who was a mountain of a man. Didn't necessarily move as well as you'd like a left tackle to move. And we had Tristan Wirfs. I was screaming from the mountaintop to draft Tristan Wirfs back in 2020.
I think everybody was, Jeff.
I think everybody was.
Yeah.
Yes. The Browns decided to be the smartest guys in the room and draft Jed Wills and move him to left tackle. We were told back then, it's the same thing. You know, guys just mirror. It's going to be no problem, right? We'll get him over there and he'll learn it. No problem, right? Okay, fast forward to 2024. Jed Wills is hurt for the umpteenth time, playing pretty poorly at left tackle. The Browns don't extend him, and he's out of the league at 26 years old.
Yeah, he's getting ready for next year.
Mekhi Becton, after a few years of struggling and bouncing around, has kind of found his place at guard and is a somewhat solid guard now. I think it took Andy Reid to sort that out.
Leave that to Andy Reid.
And Tristan Wirfs is an all-pro left tackle for Tampa.
Who just caught a touchdown last week, by the way.
Yeah. So I guess my point is that the draft giveth and the draft taketh away.
Yeah.
I've seen a whole bunch of mocks already. It's way too soon to do that. But the point is we need to find legitimate answers that we're not paying the penalty for in 5 years. We want guys that we can extend. We've had nobody that we could extend come out of the draft in the last several years, going all the way back to Jed Wills. Grant Delpit, the exception to that.
Yeah.
There have been one or two exceptions. Okay, I don't want to completely poop on Andrew Berry's parade, but the reality is that there's not nearly enough guys that we could extend, and you've got some real opportunity this year with some high picks to find guys like that. Let's not overthink it. Let's not oversell it. Let's just do what we did last year and hit doubles. I'll take doubles. I don't need home runs. Let's just hit doubles.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the one guy you can throw into there is Greg Newsome because of the trade. to trade for Tyson Campbell, which in a roundabout way has turned into an extension of what appears to be a hell of a cornerback.
Yeah,
the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, I'll give you that one in a roundabout way. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to have the weekly Caleb Downs talk. So Caleb Downs. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so
just a couple other quick takeaways from the game against the Steelers, Rod.
Yeah.
The running backs in that game looked really solid at times.
They didn't run for big yardage, but yeah.
I'm viewing this
their butts. Yeah.
Through the lens of a really terrible offensive line, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, I thought those guys did a nice job of fighting for the extra yard. And Raheem Sanders, I have been a fan for probably 3 seasons now. He didn't come out when I thought he would the first time, but then he came out and ended up falling dramatically in the draft. And the Browns ended up with him in sort of a roundabout way on waivers, or maybe off practice squad. I forget which. I think it was practice squad.
Yeah, I think so.
But you know what? I watch Raheem Sanders, and I see a little bit of Nick Chubb. The ability to run through guys, the ability to get those tough yards between the tackles. I'm tired of watching Dylan Sampson between tackles. I'm this close to being tired of Quinshon Judkins between the tackles, to be honest. Next year, I want to see more Raheem Sanders between the tackles. And I think if you give him the time to get established, like we used to with Nick Chubb. If you think back, Nick Chubb didn't hurt you in the first quarter. He crushed you in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was the second half. He was just running over people and just getting, just chunk play after chunk play.
Raheem Sanders is that kind of back. And I think if we reassess our running game in the offseason and look at why it didn't work this year, we need to retool to what's worked in the past. We need that big back on first and second downs. We need guys making holes, obviously.
Yeah,
right.
Good place to start. Yeah,
but we need to save that Kareem Hunt type running that we get out of Quinshon Judkins for the right times, and not beat him to death on
in
first
the first
and second
quarter.
down. In the first quarter, yes.
Yeah, I agree. He's too good to just be pounding himself into a brick wall, in the first half, 20 carries in the first half for 40 yards. Yeah.
So that was that for me. That was a big takeaway from that game. The other one was, Carson Schlesinger is just a warrior.
He just won't come off.
He is just a warrior.
Everybody's screaming, "Man, get him out of there! Get him out of there!" And he's like, he's not coming out.
I mean, you probably saw Kevin Stefanski in the locker room afterward giving him the game ball. I mean, he said, "You'll have to drag my body off the field."
Yeah.
And for me, that sets such a tone for everybody else on the team. That not everybody's going to be that tough and be able to play through injuries like that, but just the mentality that, you want to go to war with a guy like that. I mean, that's a guy you want in the foxhole with you, right?
Yeah. And that's why, changing a coach is not always what a team needs. Okay. Sometimes team chemistry, just the way a team thinks, can be changed entirely just by a few key players like that.
Yeah.
And this guy's a rookie this year,
We have lacked those kind of leaders in the past, Rod.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how Schlesinger is going to be in a couple of years, but if he changes personality at all to where he's, to where he's a leader of, of players more than just lead by example, man, I think it could change things even more on the team and spill over, to the offense and everything.
I agree.
And I don't think he's the only guy that's like that out of the rookies. I mean, I think he's the only Carson Schlesinger. I don't want to say other guys are like him, but
right.
I think Harold Fannon's a lot like that. I don't think Judkins is a whole lot different either. I think these guys would play, until they're physically not able to play, pretty much. So I think there are guys like that. And that is exactly what you want. That's how you build a team. And, it's the players. It's guys like Schlesinger. And that's what makes you fall in love with the team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow the Browns because of who the coach is or who the owner is or anything.
Right.
Man, it's always been the players. It's always been the games, and rooting them on. And I think no matter what the record's been, no matter what the composition of the team is, there have always been at least a few guys that you just kind of love their game, And as long as there's guys like Nick Chubb or Schlesinger, anybody like that, Joe Thomas, anybody like this on the team that you really just look up to and love them for what they give, it's impossible to not love this team. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
So Jeff, the Browns do have a game this week.
Last game of the season.
Last game of the season, week 18. They had to Cincinnati. And let's see, they play Sunday at 1, I guess, right? So
they confirmed a 1:00 start.
1:00. So let's see, Bengals 6-10, Browns 4-12. You would think that the Bengals had won 10 more games than the Browns because they were favored by 7.5 in this game. 44.5 is the over/under. I was looking at stats a little bit. Jamar Chase has another huge season. 117 catches, 1,300 yards receiving. I think 7 touchdowns, which is kind of surprising. That number's not a little higher, but and then I looked at T. Higgins. I'm thinking they both probably got big numbers, right? T. Higgins, 53 catches, 779 yards, and 10 touchdowns. That's a lot. But T. Higgins' numbers aren't really a whole lot different from Harold Fannon's as far as the catches and the yards. Now, Jamar Chase, there's nobody on the Browns that's anywhere near that. But
not yet.
I just thought that was kind of interesting. I just wanted to look at that. But there again, Burrow hasn't played the full season. You've had Joe Flacco out there some, and I can't remember their other quarterback's name who they benched in favor of Flacco. But Jake Browning, yeah. The Bengals have taken 34 sacks this season, Jeff. I'll be honest, that number doesn't sound very high for how crappy I think their offensive line is.
Yeah.
It's only a couple a game, really.
Right.
So that kind of surprises me. I think I'll be honest with you. I want to see a win, but Miles getting some sacks in this game is way more important to me than the win. It just does. The win I wanted was the Steelers win, and I'm not going to root against the Browns in this game, but the sacks are more important to me in this one. It's just how it is. So I'm hoping that Miles gets some, and I think this game sets up really funky because I don't know how badly the Bengals want this win either. I guess Burrow's playing, but I could see at any point in time the Bengals just saying, let's just put Flacco out there. We've seen enough, whether they're up or down.
Yeah. If the game gets lopsided, for sure.
Yeah, whether it's at halftime or halfway through the second quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did look, and the weather is it's supposed to be sunny and 39. So I don't think weather's going to be a factor in this game at all.
No.
What are your thoughts? How seriously do you think these teams, both of them, are going to take this game? As far as I think the players are both going to be playing to win. The question is, are the coaches going to have their starters out there the full game, and is that how they're going to be playing this one?
Yeah, I would think Cincinnati would probably pull some of their guys at least partway into the game. I don't see any reason for them to go all out for 4 quarters to try to get one more win.
Either.
I think, the Browns, for me, really, they don't have anything else to prove to me.
No.
And I don't think, Shedeur throwing for 300 yards in this game is going to change the approach to the offseason. It's just all part of the body of work and the evaluation process. I think it's hard to say who will have less motivation in this game right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard time figuring it out. Yeah.
Miles is going to be motivated to get a sack or two for sure.
He's going to get it. He's going to get them. He's going to get them. It's going to be this year, Jeremy. He's not going to start fresh next year.
Yeah, honestly, I don't care. It would be great if he gets it. If not, he's had a great season. If he doesn't set the record, that's okay. If he does set the record, we're just going to listen to, the whole asterisk thing all off season because he did it in 17 games. So I don't, again, it's not, to me, it's not the be all end all for this game. I would love to see it.
I want to see it, but it's not going to ruin anything for me. He's going to have 20 sacks and fewer opportunities than anybody's ever done it before, no matter what.
Yeah, you won't be able to take that.
No matter what. That's It's going to be pretty much the greatest sack season anybody's ever had, no matter what.
Yeah. So I guess of all the games this year, Rod, this is the one that I really just don't have a great feeling for a prediction. I've been
pretty much. I gotta say, you've been pretty much money, and man, it's been almost uncanny this year. You've been on the money so often this year.
This one's hard though. I don't know how this one's going to play out.
You want me to go first?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me think about it a little bit more.
Okay, I think the thing we're going to see in this game is the defense remains on a mission in this game. The defense showed what they could do against the Steelers, and I think they're going to come in with that same attitude and want to finish the year strong and just kind of show the league that they are the number one defense in the league, regardless of the numbers, regardless of what anybody says. And they do want to get Miles that sack record, so I think they're going to work on that. So I think they are going to hold the Bengals down a bit. And I think the Browns offense will do just enough. I won't be surprised if we see a pick six or something in this game, and it may not be Burrow. It might be Flacco. But I think the Browns. I have the Browns winning 20-17. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring game, so I'm going with the under. I feel like the Browns defense is going to just come into this game with an attitude like they do against the Bengals sometimes. And I think the Bengals might get tired of it pretty quick and just pull their guys too. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. How many sacks for Miles?
I'm going to say 2.
Okay.
I'd love 5 or 6, but I'm thinking 2. 2.
Yeah, I like that number. I Miles likes playing against Joe Burrow. I think you're right on with 2 sacks. Okay, so since you went with the under and you see a low scoring game, I'm just gonna, for shits and giggles, go with the over, which I've not done all year.
No.
I think these teams, again, have nothing to lose. Guys on our side are probably aware that they're fighting for opportunities for next year. The Bengals, I think, are pretty much locked up offensively. They're going to try to put points on the board. Depends on how well our defense holds up, but I think this is going to be an over game, so I'm going to go higher. I think the Browns will have a big offensive showing. I'm still worried about the run game, but I don't think it's going to be that hard to throw the ball against the Bengals. So, Shedeur probably wants to make one last big statement to leave everybody with in the offseason, right? So I'm going to say that Shedeur throws for 300 yards.
Nice.
And I'm going to say that the Browns will score 28 points. And we're going to hold the Bengals to, 44. We're going to hold the Bengals to 20.
28-20 Browns.
28-20 Browns. So I'm going to take the over.
48. Okay.
And I'm going to predict that this team is going to have each other's back. They're going to have their embattled coaches back. And they're going to make a statement against the Bengals that they owe them from week 1.
That's true. We didn't even bring that up. They do owe the Bengals something from week 1 when they should have beat them. So I like that too. Glad I picked the win. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, let's hope at least Jeff and I, we're hoping for a win, guys. So you guys can do your own thing, but we're hoping for a win. Jeremy's got the Browns 31-13. He's going
thumping the Bengals.
He's got a thumping coming up. Yeah. I like that, Jeremy. I would take 31-13, but yeah. So okay. Well, Jeff, got some closing thoughts? Anything else you want to cover before we get on out of here?
Yeah, all of that said about the game next week or Sunday, I will not be upset, disappointed, or anything else if the Browns don't win this game. As long as the team goes out and competes, that's fine with me. They, like I said at the beginning, they have nothing else to prove to me. These guys have fought hard all year long. They've gone up against some tough circumstances and not quit. I think a large part of that has to do with the organization and how it's structured now. I think this team is headed in the right direction. I've been saying for the last several weeks that more wins are on the horizon. We just have to keep doing the right things. Let's stay the course and build this thing back the correct way this time, not panic. And let's give ourselves something to look forward to in 2026.
Sounds good to me. So, guys, we will be back next week at our we're going to call it our regular night, probably Thursday night. I think we're going to probably get back to. We've been doing Tuesdays because of the holidays, and nobody wants to sit and catch us on a holiday or anything like that. I don't think. I mean, we've done Easter, I guess, Jeff, but. So anyways, so we'll be back to that. We're and we'll have some guests. If you guys are interested in joining us, feel free to reach out to me. We're always looking for guests, and no experience necessary. Just shoot me a DM on X, and happy to talk about setting up some time for you to come on and talk some Browns with us. Aside from that, we hope everybody has a very safe and happy New Year. This has been the Browns Blitz. We thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Go Browns.